Hello, hello. Welcome back, fellow CEOs. Today, I'm going to be diving into the tools that keep my business running smoothly. I'm a firm believer that the right tools can significantly boost your productivity and, of course, streamline your workflow. And so that is going to be able to save you lots of time and reduce those headaches that seem to disappear, right? And so let's talk about my top picks as far as my favorite tools. So we're going to explore the tools that I can't live without. Now, these are just three of them. There are plenty more, but these ones go from project management to content creation. These tools have become an integral part of my daily routine. And so I want you to go ahead and grab a cup of coffee or a tea if you're a tea drinker, and let's go ahead and dive in. And so tool number one, if you've listened to this podcast or you know me at all, you already know what tool number one is. The one thing that I can't live without every single day would be ClickUp. And so ClickUp, in case you are unaware, is a powerful project management tool that has absolutely up-leveled the way I organize and manage my business, including my team. And so it's like having a digital assistant that keeps track of everything from tasks to deadlines to the team collaboration and project management. So it's it's the central hub for my business. That's what I call it. All right. And so I've used ClickUp to specifically do these four things. Organize my content calendar. So I break down my content into smaller tasks. I set deadlines and I track the progress, right? I use it for this very podcast, okay? And that goes into a whole bunch of other ways to use ClickUp and getting this podcast live to you today. And so another way that I use ClickUp is managing client projects, right? So I'm able to keep track of the tasks that I need to do for each client. And sometimes my clients actually have me in their very own ClickUp. So it's a little bit different, but they're still using ClickUp and I can easily get to it, right? So they can assign me tasks, I can assign them tasks, I can keep track of project deadlines, we can collaborate. And that brings me to point number three, which is collaborating with a team in general, right? Whether you're in your client's workspace collaborating with a team, whether they're in your workspace, you can easily share files, you can discuss ideas, right? You can provide feedback on projects, you can, plan out an entire launch plan in there. There's so many different ways that you can use ClickUp to collaborate with a team and manage projects, right? Creating that content calendar, all of those things kind of go together. And we're talking about launches too, right? And so another thing, the fourth and final one, I should say, is automating repetitive tasks. All right, this is where the time set goes. This is where the boring tasks come from, but we want to always save time. And so I've set up automations that send reminders. They can update task statuses. They can trigger specific actions based on certain criteria, right? Like I said, with this podcast production, there are so many pieces that are completely automated based off of what a client does, based off of what a team member does to keep things moving forward. And so having this to be able to literally just this one thing of making sure this podcast goes to you live every single Tuesday is huge. And I owe that to ClickUp among the other two tools that I'm actually going to be sharing with you today that help support in this process as well. No, I did not do this intentionally. It's just coming to me as I'm recording this, that all three of these tools also help me in the production of this podcast. All right, so moving on to how ClickUp, just here real quickly, ClickUp's flexibility and customization options make it an incredibly valuable tool for businesses, right, of all sizes. And if you've listened to any episodes recently, you have seen how I've highlighted ClickUp in many different ways. And so by using ClickUp, you can significantly improve your productivity, you can reduce stress, and you can achieve better results because you're saving so much time and not having as many headaches, right? And you're automating a lot of things. So those are just a few highlights, but the tool number two is actually going to be Google Gemini. And this is an AI tool. It's a very powerful AI tool. If you've heard of ChatGPT, this is very similar to it, but it's Google's version. And it has seriously, absolutely changed the way that I do work because I don't stay stuck. Okay. I don't go I'm oh, what are some ideas? Right. So it's a super intelligent assistant at my fingertips. All right. And so that is like a game changer in itself. And so here are actually a few ways that I've used Gemini to help speed up my processes in my business, but also help me not get stuck in the creative processes. Sometimes when your brain is just I don't have any creative energy left, I need some support here. Among other things, there's so many other things we can use this for too. But the first thing is generating creative content ideas. So you can have, from blog post topics to social media captions. Gemini actually helps me brainstorm different things and come up with fresh ideas as well. But also it can be repurposing podcast episodes. All right. So this is like a long form content, right? This podcast is more longer form content. And so I can use Gemini to write the show notes, right? Summarizing key points. It can help me generate blog posts or the social media content based on these podcast episodes. Now, it's not 100% because it is AI, but it is using my words from my podcast. You have to be very specific when telling it, like use my words, otherwise it'll pull from everywhere. And we don't want that, right? We want to use our own words because otherwise it's like using AI, but not in a great way, right? But anyway, I digress. And then the last thing I use it for is writing standard operating procedures, which are SOPs. And so you can actually drop in here how you do something, and it will be able to create clear and concise SOPs, which SOPs essentially ensure consistency across your team or just in general for yourself, right? If you're a solopreneur. And or like this could also be, onboarding documents. This can be making sure things stay in the same consistent formats, right? So like lesson descriptions for courses and different things like that based off of like whatever you input into it, which could be transcripts, could be directions, whatever it is. But the biggest thing that I use it for is the consistency of the formatting across what I'm trying to input it into it. Okay. So that has been super helpful for the formatting and not using all of my brain power to make sure the formatting is correct, because I feel like I have OCD in that respect. But anyway, I digress. So Gemini's ability to understand and actually respond to there's some complex prompts that I put in there has been invaluable. Okay. And so it's Google Gemini, ChatGPT, all those things. But like I said, I use Google Gemini. It's a very versatile tool that can help you with a wide range of tasks, saving me, but also you so much time and not staying stuck. So it's definitely a must-have if you're a content creator or you're a business owner. And just remember, you don't have to take it word for word. You can always use it as idea generation and formatting and repurposing your own words, right? It's speeding up the process, using your resources, as I always like to say. And it's not like if you weren't paying, you can pay someone to do it for you, but even some of those people are going to use AI tools to help speed up the process and keep these things concise as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. And so tool number 3, which ironically, like I said, all these things go around to the podcast, is Riverside. Riverside is what I record on. It's a remote recording platform that has seriously it's transformed the way that I create content by simplifying it greatly. Or I used to create more locally on my computer, and then I'd have to upload it somewhere, and sometimes I would forget and all this and that. And I'm like, no, we are going to just upload it on a cloud server, right? It's a remote recording platform, and then my team can just access it. Okay. I don't have to do extra steps on my part. And so personally, I use Riverside to record high quality podcast episodes. If you're listening to this audio, it's actually uploaded on YouTube as well. So you can see the high quality video part as well. So the crystal clear audio, video, it all comes down to the type of equipment you have though. Just keep that in mind. All right. So you can even record in low bandwidth environments as well. So that's actually really cool. So you don't have to have high-speed internet to have it record, because it records locally to your computer and then it'll upload it to Riverside automatically, which is where it's awesome. You can also collaborate with remote guests, like I already kind of highlighted here, but it's easily, you send them a link, they pop into the Riverside recording, and it doesn't matter where they are in the world, and it's just super easy to record with a whole bunch of other things behind the scenes that you can do with audio with guests as well. The third thing is you can create engaging video content. So it's when I do my YouTube videos that aren't the podcast specifically, you can record screen recordings, you can use webcam videos, audio only recordings, you can do so many different things just to create engaging video content. There's also little mini reels that you can take from this, right? They're called magic clips, and you can use those for, reels on Instagram from your podcast, or cute little clippets for your podcast channel. Whatever you want to do there are ways to do that as well with some AI features inside of Riverside itself. And so most importantly, the reason I use Riverside is not because of all of these capabilities, honestly. The biggest one is kind of like I highlighted in the beginning, was that I didn't want to have extra steps to get the podcast or get the YouTube videos that I record on my end to my team. I wanted it to be super streamlined and easy, and then they could use the tools that are inside of Riverside to be able to, edit things or get those reel clips, edit the transcript, whatever we wanted it to do, those tools are there. And so it's easy to share these recordings directly with my team, and I do nothing to do that, right? But it's for easy access for them in editing. So Riverside has seriously streamlined my content creation process when it comes to video and audio, right? And made it easier to collaborate with others on my team And that's regardless of their location. And it's being able to collaborate easy with podcast guests, regardless of their location as well. And so in this episode, we've explored some of the essential tools that help me stay organized, productive, and creative, right? We went over ClickUp, which is my VIP tool. We went over Google Gemini, which is a pretty big resource to help me be able to not stay stuck and continue moving forward and repurpose things. And then we talked about Riverside, which is going to be able to help me, streamline my process when it comes to this podcast and my YouTube channel as well. And so by leveraging these tools, you can actually streamline your workflow, right? You can enhance your productivity and you can continue scaling your business, right? Because we all want to save time and we don't want to have as many headaches about our processes, right? And so I am curious because there are so many tools out there. What are your favorite tools? I want you to share your thoughts and your recommendations in the comments below because I'm always looking at other tools because I might have a client that comes in that as an operations manager, right? That's like, oh, this is a perfect tool. Maybe not for me specifically, but it might be for one of my clients. And I want to be able to have some experience with it or even at least hear about it so I can go dig deeper, right? And so remember the right tools can make a very big difference in your business, but then essentially your life. And so I'm encouraging you to experiment, find what works for you. And I want you to then have that optimize your workflow. All right. So I hope this was helpful. I will see you next week, but I'm so excited to have you check out any of these tools if you haven't done so already. You can go ahead and find some links, which some of them are affiliate links in the show notes for these tools to be able to help you streamline. And if you have any questions about these tools, how to use them, any other specific ways, like, hey, will this work this way? Those types of things, you can absolutely reach out to me, whether that be in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll be happy to support you. But till next week, I will hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you next week.